Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Yasmin, but my friends all call me Yazzie, and you guys can too. Today we are going to be going through my July reading wrap up, and can I say it has been an amazing month, truly. I have read 10 books this month. I'm just really proud. I'm out of my slump. I'm officially out of my slump, so that's what makes me really happy. I read one on audiobook, one on my Kindle, and then the rest of them physical books. But without further ado, because 10 books is a lot, let's get right into it. First up, I read The Blood Trader by Lynette Noni. This is the third and final book in the Prison Healer trilogy. I gave this 5 stars. I love this book so much, but I'm not going to talk about it because I did include it in my June reading wrap up just because I binged the whole series and I just so happened to film it after finishing this. So yeah, I won't talk about this, but I did finish it off in July. After that, I read Finalei by Stephanie Garber, again, the last book in the Caraval trilogy. I gave this book 4.75 stars. Guys, I love Caraval so much. The only reason that this wasn't 5 stars is I don't know why, but I usually tend to binge series, but I did take a bit of a break after reading Legendary, so it took me a bit of time to get back into this world, in my own headspace. But I think it expands on the world of Caraval so beautifully and just makes it even that much more magical. Also, I just love reading about Scarlett and Tella. They genuinely, they have my heart. I love them so much. Their sisterhood is genuinely one of the most incredible sisterhoods I have ever read about, ever. I love Julian. Julian is such a gentleman. I love that man so much. But I will say, we have both sisters' POVs in this book. I wish there was a more even split up of the POVs. I think Tella got a lot more page time than Scarlett did. I'm not saying I don't like Tella. I genuinely love both of them so much. I just wish it was more even. But I still really love this book, and I love the characters, and I love the world, and I just love everything about this. So excited to read Once Upon a Broken Heart too, if it's going to be as good as this. I will say though, about Jax, I do not understand how that man can get better in Once Upon a Broken Heart, because have you seen him in Caraval? Ew. After that, I read No Place Left to Hide by Megan Lally. I gave this 2.5 stars. The plot was incredibly predictable, especially for a thriller. Basically, this book follows Brooke, and she's just a perfect person. Perfect life, perfect grades, perfect looks, just amazing. But the year before, an incident happened that threatened to ruin her whole life. But it didn't. So after getting accepted into the university of her dreams, she decides to go to a bonfire party with her best friend to, celebrate. But on the way home, an SUV starts tailing Brooke and her best friend. He says he won't let her go until the truth is out in the open involving the incident, and Brooke keeps claiming she has no idea what he wants. And yeah, it just goes off from there. I picked up this book because I thought it had a very similar premise to Five Survive, and it does. The main idea is quite similar. But the way that it's laid out from present time POV to the POV of a year ago, it's incredibly predictable as to what happened. All the plot twists for me fell flat. I knew everything that was going to happen within less than 100 pages of this book. Just wasn't that great. But I do think I want to read Megan Lally's other book, That's Not My Name, because everyone says that one is amazing. So I think I'll give that one a try. After that, I read Killjoy by Holly Jackson. I gave this 4 stars. This is just a novella prequel to the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and I love that series so much with my whole heart. I read this whole book in one sitting. It's tiny, but it was so much fun. I don't know, because even without the high stakes of murder, I still thought this was such an amazing time. But basically, it is one of Pip's friends' birthday parties, and he's got a 1920s murder mystery thing going on. And that's essentially all it is. It's a birthday murder mystery game, but it's just so fun. And especially after finishing the series, you want to see all the characters again. And Pip, I just really loved it. It made me so happy to just be there with them again. But Ravi isn't in it because, this was before everything happened. But yeah, I love this. I'm just realizing right now, I read a lot of thrillers and mystery books this month because the next book that I read was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I gave this book 3.75 stars. It was really good, don't get me wrong, it's just not something that I think is incredibly memorable. But basically, newlyweds Trisha and Ethan are looking for a new house, and they find this remote mansion in the middle of nowhere that used to belong to a renowned psychiatrist, Dr. Hale. And when a massive snowstorm traps them in that house, Trisha gets a little bit curious and decides to explore. So she finds audio recordings of Dr. Hale's sessions with her patients. Obviously, out of curiosity, Trisha begins to listen to these. And these recordings unveil secrets that could help figure out why did the doctor disappear a few years ago. So as all the puzzle pieces finally begin to lay into place, and with each audio recording, Trisha can finally picture, okay, what happened to this doctor? But by then, it's a little too late. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. It definitely kept me interested, just not something that was incredibly memorable. This book is not particularly YA. It does have mentions of, you know, freaky stuff, but absolutely nothing on page. So, you know, just thought I'd say that just as a little warning, you know, if you wanted to pick this book up. Okay, after that, I had a cute little romance, and I had Never Thought I'd End Up Here by Anne Liang. This book was so cute. It was literally so cute, guys. Oh my god. I gave this book 4.25 stars, and it's 100% made me excited to read more of Anne Liang's work. But basically, after Leah ridiculously embarrasses herself at her cousin's wedding in China, her parents decide to send Leah on a travel program to, you know, learn more about China and its culture and practice her Mandarin a little bit. But one of the fellow students on that trip is her childhood enemy, Cyrus. And she is adamant that she hates him and he will never be able to do anything to regain her trust. So she comes up with a little plan to get revenge on him. But as she's trying to execute this plan, she finds herself falling in love with him. It's just really, really sweet and really, really cute, and I love Cyrus. He's such a gentleman. And he likes literature. He wants to get a literature degree, guys. I'm sorry if that's not amazing. Then I don't know what it is. But yeah, this book was so much fun, and especially I love the setting of China with all different cities they went to. It was genuinely so gorgeous. And I studied Chinese in school, and there was this one word that was said that I knew the meaning of, and because they don't tell you what it means until the end. So it's just so cute. I love this book. Okay, I love this book so much. Okay, after that, I read Divergent on my Kindle. I gave this book 4 stars. This is a really, really weird rating for me because I really, it was so addictive. I read it in 2 days, okay, and I read it in like 3 sittings. So it was genuinely so addictive, but I don't think it was a good book, if that makes sense. So I might reconsider my 4-star rating, but it was so much fun. Bunch of years into the future, the world is now divided into classes, and these classes have, you know, single attributes. Okay, so there is one for selflessness, one for honesty, bravery, intelligence, and kindness. I got that right. Tris, her whole life has been raised to be selfless, okay? So when you're 16 years old, you get to choose what class you want to be in. And so she changes to Dauntless, the one of bravery. And it turns out that Dauntless only takes a few candidates every year. And so she has to struggle to keep a spot to become Dauntless so she doesn't end up on the streets without a faction, without a class. So she's just trying to prove herself as she is falling for her mentor. He's too nonchalant for my own liking, personally. But if you're into that, you know, cool. I completely forgot to mention that Tris is divergent, which means she belongs to a little bit of each faction, which is unheard of in this world, and people get killed for it. So Tris has to fight to keep her spot in Dauntless while trying to protect her identity. I also had a little bit of trouble connecting to the characters. I don't know, they all kind of annoy me, to be honest. He's just so nonchalant that it's annoying. I don't like nonchalant people, if I'm being honest. And he's just so nonchalant that it bothers me. But I am gonna finish the series off because I just think it was so fun. After that, I started a new series, and that is The Naturals. I read The Naturals and Killer Instinct, you know, one after the other. I gave both of them 4.5 stars. They're genuinely so good. Like, so good, guys. Okay, so basically Cassie is a natural at reading people. She can tell everything about a person based on the tiniest details. So when the FBI asks to recruit her to help solve cold cases, obviously she says yes, because who wouldn't? That sounds so fun. But what she doesn't realize is that there are other teens like her, you know, with different kinds of gifts as well. And so when a new killer goes directly for these group of kids, it becomes more dangerous than ever. They're not only solving cold cases, there is a serial killer contacting them, and so they all have to work together to find out, okay, who is this killer and how can we get them. These books are genuinely have like a stroke of brilliance in them, okay, because yes, they have these you chapters, okay, and these chapters are from the perspective of the serial killer. It's so terrifying but so brilliant. I will say, reading these at night made my heart racing, and it made me look out the window to, you know, just make sure no one is there. Jennifer Lynn Barnes has a PhD in psychology, okay, that's why it's so twisty. But yeah, so you know these books are gonna mess with your mind, but in a good, entertaining way, and I'm so excited to read the rest of the series. And finally, the last book that I listened to is My Family and Other Suspects by Kate Emery. I listened to that from Libby, and it was a really fun time. Basically, when Ruth and her family go down south to visit their grandma, something terrible happened, and the next morning they find Gigi, their grandma, dead. And Gigi lives in a remote farm in the middle of nowhere. So when police arrive, obviously the first thing they think is, it was someone in this house. Nobody else could have gotten here, nobody else could have done it. One of you killed her. And so 14-year-old Gigi and Dylan, who she has a complicated relationship with, try to figure out, okay, what happened to Gigi? Which of our family members killed her? It was really fun again, but just not memorable. But I will say, listening to the audiobook was a really fun haha time. And yeah, that is everything that I read this month. But tell me what your favorite book that you read this month was, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!